Lily was torn from our lives by the most unlikely source that we ever imagined, and that was a Fort Worth police officer. When Mark saw Officer Frank Brown on our driveway, and I then saw him on our front porch, we had no idea why he was at our home. We later found out that he was investigating a copper theft that had been reported a couple days earlier. And he had come to our home at the wrong address. He was supposed to be 2 blocks east of our home. Lily was our child. She was a 40-pound border collie. It happened while Mark and I were taking groceries out of his truck that afternoon. The girls had seen a lizard and chased it into our garage. It had run behind a file cabinet. I had a load of groceries and asked Mark if he had the girls, and he said sure. So I left the garage to take a load of groceries into the house.
And I saw a police officer had stopped his car in front of our driveway. He had gotten out and was walking down the driveway and had made it about 20 feet. I went back in the garage, called the dogs, and was herding them back into the backyard. It's approximately 120 feet from the street back to my garage, and the officer had walked another 40 feet or so down the driveway. My dogs saw, as I was herding them in to the backyard, the officer coming down the driveway, and Gracie ran between my legs, and I chased after her, yelling, "Stop!" Got her attention, and she went into the grassy area to the east of our driveway. I had captured her and had her in my hands and turned and looked, and Lily, our border collie, had run up the side steps where the officer was standing on the side of our driveway. He had gone around and was standing up about 2 feet off of the ground on a side porch. I started pleading for him, "They don't hurt, they won't bite you," and yelling for Lily while I was holding on to Gracie.
When I came out on the driveway, I saw Officer Frank Brown standing on the top of our porch, and Lily was standing at the top of the porch, and I called her, and she stopped and turned to come to me. But before she could come to me, Officer Brown pulled out his gun, and then my focus was on that gun, and I stopped. I was paralyzed, and I started pleading with him, "Please don't hurt my babies. They're not going to hurt you. Please stop. Please, they're not going to hurt you." And instead of stopping, Officer Brown turned and he looked at me straight in the face. And then he turned towards Lily and put his arm out, and he fired his gun. He then turned his gun on Mark and me and ordered Mark to secure Gracie. And he carried Gracie to the backyard. And somehow Lily had managed to run into the backyard. So again, we still didn't know she had been actually shot. And Mark came out from the back gate up to Officer Brown, demanding to know why he was on our property. We didn't even know why he was there. And Officer Brown responded, "You better check your dog." That's when we both realized, oh my gosh, he actually fired a gun. And I ran to the backyard, and I saw a pool of blood on our patio. And Gracie was smelling the blood, and I followed the blood trail and found Lily. And she was laying in a pile of leaves, and she was trying to breathe, and blood was pouring out of her back. And I started screaming and screaming, "Mark, he shot our baby. He shot our little girl."
The loss of our Lily was overwhelming. We do not have children. They are our babies. We treat them like our family, our partners in life. Much like a police officer's canine animal, they go home with the animal. They're part of their family. It's a major loss if you're to lose a canine officer. We feel the same way with losing our Lily. When Lily was shot, I really wanted the officer fired at that point. We came to realize firing the officer would not get the results that we need for our community. 40% of the houses they're going to go to are going to have animals, whether they're dogs or cats or whatever. They should be trained to always be ready to be around an animal, whether it's aggressive or not. This does not need to happen to anyone, and hopefully this training will keep this from happening again.